thank you very much, everybody. Thanks to University of Nicosia for inviting me, and congratulations for this great event. The panel of speakers is really high quality. A part of me, but let's say with everybody is very, very high quality. And also I found very interesting people in the public. So I'm very, very impressed and very happy with this event. Okay, so let's start. So my name is Manuel Machado. I am the global head of blockchain solutions at Worldline. Worldline is the biggest payment processor in Europe, and also is a leader in digital transformation. It's part of the Atos Group, which is one of the biggest IT services and solution provider worldwide. For example, Atos is a partner of the Olympic Games, so they manage the whole IT requirements of the Olympic Games, just to give you an idea of the kind of things that they could do. I'm also a member of the European Union Blockchain Observatory and Forum, which is an advising body for the European Commission to help them understand the blockchain ecosystem in Europe and how we could improve it and make it a reference worldwide. And I'm also, through Worldline, we are co-founders of Alastria, which is a national blockchain consortium that we launched in Spain, which is, I will explain a little bit later what we do in this consortium. You have my social media details. Well, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm happy to get into conversations. Okay, so what is Bloomen? Bloomen is a European Union-funded project that started last September, and it's going to last for 3 years. The idea with Bloomen is to help the media market to gain transparency and efficiency using blockchain technology. And with this project, we are focusing on 3 verticals, which are the music sector, the journalistic photos sector, and the video streaming sector. And since we cannot cover the whole market, we are focusing on the offer side of the market. So we are trying to identify or generate unique digital representations of media assets, such as songs or photos or videos, and fill them, enrich them with information, share it in a transparent way with the whole market, so that when the media is used, then you can have clear idea of who you have to compensate for that usage. Here you can check out the consortium that we have built for this project. So we have technical partners. So we have Worldline, you have the National Technology University of Athens, ATC, which is a small, very innovative company here in Greece as well, and Kendrayo, which is a UK-based company working on artist solutions. And then we have the companies that are helping us to get really into the 3 verticals, the 3 use cases that we have identified. We have VMAT for the music use case, Deutsche Welle for the photo use case, and Antenna from Cyprus for the video streaming case. Oh. No, sorry. Okay, so we start with the music use case. So as I said, we are working with VMAT. And what they understand working with VMAT is that mainly they work with CMOs, which are companies that manage copyrights for artists, for songwriters and producers and performers, et cetera, et cetera. And what they identify is that the market doesn't share information properly. Every CMO has its own database with information that sometimes is conflicting with information that other CMOs have. So sometimes it's very difficult to trace who is the right copyright owner for the different characteristics of a song. So what we are doing is we are building a distributed database based on using blockchain technology to identify uniquely each piece of art, of production, enriching that with all the information required, and particularly with copyright information. And the idea is that that could be enriched with different CMOs, And in the future, it's not part of the scope of the project, but in the future, we may extend that to the demand side of the market. So ideally, we will be able to monitor the consumption of content so that we can match a specific consumption of content with specific information of their copyrights holders, so the compensation could be done automatically. What we are doing so far, and is within the scope, is giving artists access to monitor the information about their creations. So that's another thing that we're including in the market right now. Okay, the second case is the journalistic photos case with Deutsche Welle. So I didn't mention, but it's a broadcaster, a German broadcaster, public broadcaster, a news agency. And basically, the issue that they have is that they would like to recognize the different photos that they use, but sometimes they don't have the right information, or as you know, right now, the request for news updates is very fast, so they don't have the time to find the right creator to recognize the creation of a specific photo that they got hold of. So what we are doing here is to facilitate for end users. It could be people like you that are taking a photo in the middle of an event and want to share with it, or professional photographs, to upload photos together with a series of information so that broadcasters, news agencies could easily recognize your work. And if you want to be compensated for that work also, eventually we will be able to compensate that work. So we go to the third use case, which is video streaming with antenna in Cyprus. So basically, Cyprus, as you know, is a small market. So antenna, it has some issues with content providers in order for them to share consumption data, like which is the real use of the content that they are purchasing. And that's why it's an issue, because what they are getting is flat rates instead of pay per usage. And for them, it's very difficult to transfer that information back to their content providers. So what we are helping them to build is a platform where end users are invited to participate, and they could access content using a utility token. Also, we have other utility tokens in other use cases, but this is one of the most important one, and where they could access to media and pay for per usage, pay per view, so that they can then give the information back, share the information back with the content providers, and access better rates for them to access better prices for content. And of course, this is not an issue that happens only to Antenna, but to many small and medium-sized broadcasters. Okay, so this is high-level description of the platform that we are building. So on the left-hand side of the image, you will have the core platform, blockchain platform. In this case, we are using Quorum, which is a derivative of Ethereum. And it's a project led by JP Morgan, but I will explain you in the next slide why we are using that one. And then you have a set of shared services, cloud services, that are going to be shared by different use cases. So you have user administration, and QR generation, smart contract management, several modules that could be used and shared by different use cases, different implementations of the platform. Then you have an API layer that's going to facilitate the generations of the final modules, which are the front ends. Front ends to the different users, for the different stakeholders, and the different use cases that we are working with, and that they are going to be focused on generating the best user experience for the kind of task that they will need to do. Okay, so all this is going to be running on top of an infrastructure, a shared infrastructure, and here is where the Alastria Consortium comes back, and I will explain you why. So first, I introduce Alastria. This is a consortium that we created in Spain. It's the first kind of consortium that has this shape or this implementation. Alastria is a consortium led by the companies. It's bottom up. It did come from the government. So it was created by the leading companies like top banks, top insurance, top consulting firms like in my company, and universities, etc. And now has around 300 partners, a lot of research institutions. Now we have a lot of SMEs, startups, etc., etc. And the idea is to build up an infrastructure and to help the development of the ecosystem around Spain and make it fully compliant with the current law. So it's a public and permission blockchain that is supposed to be able to support the whole activity of the whole country, both in private and public sector. So as you see, it's a very demanding use case. So we have been working on this use case for defining the governance, for defining the right consensus algorithm, et cetera, et cetera. And so we are going to get, from Bloomen, we're going to get advantage of all this work so that we have a very solid infrastructure, so that we are supported with a powerful infrastructure for us to work today and also to evolve in the future. How it works, so we have a share in the middle. You see the shared infrastructure that all the different partners cooperate on. So you have the blockchain. In this case, it's Quorum. That's why we are using Quorum for Bloomen. And then you have a digital identity solution based on the self-sovereign identity principles. So trying to protect the end customer for him or for her to be the owner of the data. Then on top of it, you see different services that could be developed by the different partners that participate in this consortium. We cooperate in the core solution, but on top of the services, we could be competitors or not. That depends on the partner. And then also we can interface with the different elements of the economy, all the different supply chains, connected devices, social media, et cetera, et cetera. So how this could evolve in the future? Once we finish the 3 years project, the 3 years assignment, so these are different things that we could continue doing. So we can, for example, create a consortium in each of the verticals for the different markets to work on it. We could work on the governance to make it more adapted to the requirements of the sector. We could extend the consortium that we start with a small group of participants to the whole sector. We could, of course, start monitoring the consumption of content. That would be ideal because we could automate the compensation or link it to the consumption of the content. We could support financial transactions. Of course, all these exchanges are going to impact and generate financial transactions, so we could support all of them. We could include services from third parties, like financing companies or companies that are providing other services to the different stakeholders in the market, et cetera. And of course, we could develop a full tokenomics around the different sectors, creating closed-loop economies where the different stakeholders could pay for the different services with a share token. And I'm running out of time, so thank you very much. Again, this is my contact information. If you want to get in touch with me, happy to open other conversations after this great event. Thank you very much.